Hi guys, welcome back to another video on this Porsche 911. In this one, I am determined to get the floor back into this car. So to make sure that the video is not too long, what I think I'll do is skim over some of the smaller repairs. I won't show everything, but yeah, I'll show the main repairs I need to do before we get this floor in. So check it out. So in the last video, I repaired all this back end. This is all done. And as you would have seen, I had put numbers down on all the other repairs I need to do. So my next repair is this. There's a few repairs on the dash I need to make. I won't show those. But one of the next big ones I need to do is this bulkhead repair here, where this has all been cut out for, I guess, aircon maybe. I can't remember what that was in there, what the customer said. But I have made this repair panel already. Pretty simple thing to make. Flanges dip down there just to follow the contour of the floor. So yeah, let's get this in. Okay, so that is now all welded in. In my last video, someone asked about a process for grinding, so I will run through that now. So these are the three tools I use for most of my grinding. I've got a 20mm belt sander here. We use the 60 grit belts. So I use that to knock down 80–90% of the weld, unless I can't get good access with this. I don't use the 10mm belt sander that much. I use this if access is poor, or if I've got a bit of a funny shape to grind. And with these we're using 80 grit belts. And then I finish the weld off with this. So this 90-degree die grinder, I use these Rolox on. And these are, I think they're 36 grit from memory, so quite coarse. So I'll try and keep that flat on top of the weld once I've used this. And as long as I've butted the metal up nicely, that should just grind what's left of the weld before taking it down to the parent metal. And then sometimes I use these, which are 80 grit. Just finishes it off a little bit finer. But a lot of the time I don't really need to finish it that fine. I see a lot of videos where people finish it off with a sanding disc. It's nice to do, makes the repair look nice. But ultimately, if you've got if you're going over with epoxy primer or a skim of filler, there's no real need to. It's just more time spent, but it does make that weld look nicer. So yeah, that's generally my process. It's important to focus on grinding initially just the weld. You don't want to make the metal either side of the weld too thin. So that's why I stick with this, just to take that weld right down, and then yeah, blend it all with this. So let's get this repair sorted. Okay, so that is this bulkhead repaired now. That's come out quite nicely, and it's all prepped ready to weld to the floor when that goes in. So I've got number 8 and 9 here. So this post is pretty gnarly, so I've got to repair the bottom of this post. And then the end of the longitudinal panel needs the flange putting on and a bit of grot there. And I've just spotted this here as well. So yeah, I need to remake that repair panel and we can weld that in as well. Okay, so I've got the bottom of this pillar made up and tacked in, and the top of the longitudinal as well as that return flange, so I can now weld it all in. Okay, so the end of this longitudinal panel is now all repaired, and I've done this seam weld and left it because that's how they did it at the factory, just like that. As you can see, the factory weld isn't actually all that even anyway, and they've left some nice knots up here. And that is all factory weld in there. And then yeah, the bottom of this pillar is all repaired and ground back as well. Again, I've left a little bit of a seam weld there, just like they did at factory this side. So I've tried to replicate all the factory details here. So yeah, hopefully by the time that's all painted, you won't be able to tell it's been repaired. So the next bit I need to do is this. It's not going to be an easy repair, mainly because I'm doing it upside down. But you can see there's a rust hole there as well. So I'm going to probably come across here and make this whole panel. Okay, so I've now cut that out. I've made a cardboard template that fits in there nicely. And then I've transferred this over to a piece of metal. I've added the flange as well and marked where I need to swage that. I'll either do that on the bead roller or in the vise. So as you roll the flange round here, you need to shrink this edge because it needs to kind of pucker into itself to be smooth. So as you can see, I've just started following that round, and then this section wants to shrink. So I'm going to use this shrinker stretcher here to shrink that, run it through again, probably do a little bit more shrinking, and then finish it off with a hammer and dolly. You can also see I've put this step in here and that's come out quite nicely. Well, there we go. That is the cardboard template and the finished article. So I can now weld this in. Okay, so that is that piece repaired. I can now move on to the dash. We've got some grot around here, here, and the inside of the windscreen pillar. And there we go. That is the dash all repaired and the windscreen pillar repaired too. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is this panel because it's been blasted and it's really peppered down here. So I need to remove this panel so I've got good access to this. I need to order a pair of those. So I'm just going to remove that, prep it all for welding and wait for that panel to turn up. And I can now deal with this grot as well. I haven't got a panel for this, so again I'm going to have to make this. And we've got a snapped rear seat bolt here. But yeah, that gives me something to do for the next few hours. Okay, so this is now all removed and ready to weld the new one in when that turns up. But at the back here, I've cut that area out. I didn't plan on cutting that much out, but there's some rust here. Now, you can't see that from the other side, and you can't see it from underneath because this lip here and this is so close. How on earth that area has got rusty, I do not know. That is such an odd place for it to start rusting out. But I'm now going to have to repair the end of this cross member, and then I can repair this area. Well, that is the cross member all repaired now. I can now focus on this rear seat and bulkhead area. Okay, so the next bit I need to do is this. It's pretty thin and horrible, so I'm just going to replicate this with a flange on the side. Okay, so with this piece all made and repaired, obviously I've not welded it in yet. I can now look at making this. This might be tricky, but let's see what we can do. Okay, so I've now repaired this in 3 sections. This is the original square. I've then made this piece, and this piece that will fit in there. So yeah, it's all welded together. I just now need to take it back out, prep it all for welding, and yeah, we can get that fitted. Well, there we go. That is that awkward repair all finished now. Really pleased with how this has come out. Was a bit tricky, but yeah, happy with that. Okay, so as you can see, this rear seat area is pretty pitted and perforated. So the quickest way to repair this is to replace this whole panel. I've marked out where I want to cut it. So yeah, let's get that chopped out. Okay, so this is the seat area that we've cut out. This is the new panel. We've got to weld on 2 tangs for wiring. We've got to move this bracket over, which is for the handbrake cable, and obviously this seat mount as well. So yeah, let's get that done. Okay, so that is this seat all finished now. I've welded all the tabs and brackets onto this, so this is now ready to fit. While I've been doing that, Gareth has been busy prepping the new floor pan, ready to weld the front subframe mount brackets on, and then next I'll get him onto the tunnel. Right, onto this bulkhead repair. It's the same as the other side, except I've got to include this bend at the top too. So I've started by bending the piece of metal to shape, and now I can scribe round the old piece. Okay, so this is the rear bulkhead and into the parcel shelf. That's all been repaired now. This piece is original with these ribs, and then I've made this section, and we've had this section off of the rear seat area panel. So yeah, that's come together nicely, so I can now prep it for welding and get it fitted. Okay, so we're making really good progress with this now. I was hoping to get the floor in by the end of the week and for this video, but my week's been a bit muddled. So on Monday, I ended up having to drive 150 miles to Shrewsbury, deliver a car there, go over to Lichfield, look at a car there. So that wiped out Monday. Had a meeting Tuesday morning. So I've lost a few hours. As you can see, that whole area is done now. So that's looking good. And also Gareth has been busy prepping the new tunnel and the floor that's there as well. And I've got the other tunnel out. So the old tunnel's here. I need to move these tubes over to the new tunnel. and I've got a couple more repairs to do on the shell before I can then offer the floor up. It's Thursday, so I'm gonna have to put in some extra hours. I'm gonna try my hardest to get the floor in this video, but yeah, apologies if I don't. Right, let's get cracking. Okay, so that is this bulkhead all repaired up. That's gone in quite nice. Obviously the floors, the seat area is done. I've got those speaker holes and a couple of rust holes at the back I need to repair, but I can do that when the floor's in. So the next job is to remove all of this and prep for a new panel here. This A-post inner is all holed up, and here as well. Okay, so that's this pillar now repaired, but I found some grot there, so just like that side, I've now got to make a repair piece for here. Okay, so I've made a cardboard template and transferred that onto a piece of metal, and then used the bead roller to put in a swage and tip over the flange. I've then used the hammer and dolly and the shrinker to make the flange the correct shape. Okay, let's have a quick look at these tunnels. So this is the new panel. It's all been prepped for welding, holes drilled in it for plug welding it onto the floor. And this is obviously the old tunnel. A lot of the flange is missing, just rusted away. We've got a lot of grot in here. This is like the seat lockout panel. So yeah, that would have been quite time consuming to repair all of that. We've also got rust and damage on these bits. So yeah, it's going to be much better economically to replace the tunnel. All I've got to do is remove this end panel and these tubes and transfer it into the new tunnel. So let's get cracking. Okay, there we go. That's this end panel all spot welded back on as per factory. And then on the inside, I've welded all the tubes back into place. And we've got this tube up the front as well. So this is now ready to fit to the chassis. Okay, so I'm going to have to concede. There's no chance of me getting this floor in this week. So I think next week I'm just going to go around the body again, make sure that we get all of the repairs finished on that we need to, and then I can get this floor prepped on the chassis jig, the subframe mounts welded in, and then we can get that body on the chassis. So yeah, sorry I didn't get it done in this video. I probably bit off more than I could chew, and sometimes your weeks just don't go to plan. But yeah, I really hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, please leave me a comment. I'll try my best to answer them. And yeah, remember to hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.